You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, more specifically the 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans that lost their lives after a Kansas City Chiefs watch party. Completely benign situation those 3 guys thought they were going into. We have since found out that Jordan Willis, the gentleman that owns the home of which in the backyard the 3 men were found frozen to death, has now checked himself in the rehab. Nobody knows what to believe, although we do expect that we're going to find out whenever the toxicology actually comes out that there might have been some kind of drug situation involved. A lot of people have said a lot of things. The families are speaking out because they don't know anything. And of course, it's hard to get any kind of closure when you lose a loved one if you don't actually know what happened to them. It's already a terrible thing to deal with, but they don't know what happened. So we got a couple of things. We've got the families now meeting with the Kansas City prosecutor. Why is that? And we've got a glimpse from News Nation further into the backyard of Jordan Willis's home and the actual 2 chairs of which 2 of the victims were frozen to death in. Now again, a pathologist came out and said that if they had passed out in that kind of weather and it was extremely cold, hypothermia would have led to cardiac arrest. Okay? Now, the question is, why were they incapacitated? That's the mystery here, right? I mean, obviously, you go out there to smoke some cigarettes and you get cold, too cold, you go inside, or in this case, maybe they go home. But they didn't. So we got Fox 4 KC more than 3 weeks after 3 bodies were found outside a Northland home in Kansas City. The families of those men met with the Platte County prosecutor. It all comes the same day that, according to a family member, the man who lived in the home checked into rehab, quote, to face his addiction head on. So now the door has been opened. Somebody's got something to do with some kind of addiction. The families of all 3 men found dead were represented in Wednesday's meeting. They're mourning David Harrington, Clayton McGinney, and Ricky Johnson. The 3 men went to their friend Jordan Willis's home to watch the Kansas City Chiefs' final regular season game on January 7. They were found dead 2 days later. I mean, and Jordan Willis was home, guys. It's not like he got up, walked out the front door, and went off on a business trip for 2 days. No. And people tried to get a hold of him, got no response. The most important thing to these families is now they feel as though this is being taken seriously, not only by police, but also by prosecutors, according to the attorney for Johnson's family. They said the first step to closure will only be achieved once there are answers available. Quote, I want to see what action is being taken. That's most important. What action is being taken? Caleb McGinney, the cousin of Clayton McGinney. It's brutal and cruel to wait for answers. These 3 families are caught in the middle of grieving and desperately trying to understand what could have happened at that Kansas City home. Quote, you want to be correct at the end of the day, and that's what I hope. That's when the end of the day comes out, and it comes out correct, Caleb McGinney said. Platte County prosecuting attorney Eric Zaid said at this time they are still waiting for the Kansas City police to conclude their portion of this investigation. While the families met with Zaid, Fox 4 has learned Willis finds himself in the rehab, and it goes on to talk about the story we talked about yesterday, that he checked himself into rehab. Fox 4 also learned the 3 men were alive in the wee hours of Monday morning, maybe as early as 1:30 a.m. It wasn't until late Tuesday night that McGinney's fiance went looking for him, broke into the home, and found a body. But as the nation remains puzzled by this bizarre mystery, and it is a full-blown mystery. I mean, this case has taken over the country. It's one of the strangest things. It's on every national news outlet. It's just so weird. It's so bizarre. It's clear that what those closest to Johnson, McGinney, and Harrington want is justice and accountability. I can't blame them. I'm hopeful that these families, we get some closure on this, and having some answers is what they need to have some closures. Ross Nydro, attorney for the Johnson family, said Fox 4 reached out to Willis's attorney. They're waiting to hear back. Right now, Kansas City police are still waiting for the result of the toxicology report, which could still be more than a month out. A month out? Now, I know, like I said the other day on Fox News, they said there was a backlog on these toxicology reports in Kansas City. That feels unacceptable. So, we go over here to News Nation and Alex Caparello, and he's got a little behind-the-scenes footage of the backyard.
And that's actually the lawn chairs, right? We know from David Harrington's family that Harrington was found right there in that lawn chair. The other two men's bodies actually laying down on the ground. But look, you can see when I zoom in on this video, the two lawn chairs sitting right there on the patio, right? So that gives us some perspective of how David Harrington's body was found, where it was specifically on that patio.
Wait, hold on.
So, guys, that is so... Let me see if I can go back here. All right, let me pause it. That's so wild. That this lawn chair, I mean, this looks like everybody's backyard. Every Midwestern home, it looks like this backyard. Hell, my old place here in Texas had a backyard a lot like this. I mean, our concrete patio was a little bit bigger, but I can think, and we have talked about the fact that, you know, I've had watch parties myself, you know, for NFL games, for UFC, for WWE, and especially in my 20s and early 30s, and I'm just going to keep it real. We go in the backyard, we're smoking cigarettes, we're drinking beers. That's back when I still smoked, but you get the point. You never, ever even considered something sinister, you know, or something this wild. It would be one thing if one guy all of a sudden went into cardiac arrest. They're in their 30s. It has happened, right? Not usual, but it has happened. But we're talking about three grown men all going out all at the same time, and it just makes no sense whatsoever. Again, they've talked fentanyl, they've talked all this other thing because we know that that can be a more instantaneous incapacitation, I guess you could say. But we don't know. Toxicology is going to be a big deal in this case, without a doubt. They met with prosecutors. I mean, what specifically was said? What are they looking into? But again, nobody has said a word about foul play here. It's so weird. It's so strange. It's so bizarre. We'll keep watching it. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Hit subscribe. Leave a thumbs up. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.